An innocent man spent 46 years in prison and made a plan to kill the man who framed him. Richard Phillips survived the longest wrongful prison sentence in American history by writing poetry and painting with watercolors. But on a cold day in the prison yard, he carried a knife and thought about revenge. Richard Phillips is a tall man with broad shoulders and a habit of singing to himself, usually without words, a deep and joyful sound that seems to rise from his soul. He began singing when he was a boy, and kept singing in prison, and now sings in the car, and at the dinner table, sustaining that one long note as if nothing in the world could stop the music. 2 days after he was sentenced to life in prison in 1972, Phillips wrote a poem. It may have been the first poem he ever wrote. He was 26 years old and had left high school in 10th grade. And now, with plenty of time to wander, he took a pencil and set it wandering down on the page. He wondered about the color of raindrop, the color of the sky, the color of his heart, the color of his words when he sang aloud, and the color of his need for someone to hold. He missed holding his children, missed lacing their toys and weeping away their tears. And he knew the only way he would ever return to them was to somehow prove his innocence. One appeal filed in 1974, another in 1975, Phillips thought he might win with a better lawyer. So he took a job at the prison's license plate factory in the inking department, catching freshly inked plates as they come out of the chute and sending them by conveyor belt to the drying oven. The wags were bad by civilian standard, but good by prison standard, maybe $100 a month plus bonuses. And Phillips opened a bank account and watched the money accumulate. About 4 years later, he had enough to pay one of the best appellate lawyers in Michigan. So he sent in the money and waited for freedom. All the while, he thought of his children and remembered the taste of homemade ice cream, and wrote love poems to women, both real and imaginary, featuring beds made of violets and warm baths made of tears. He waited and waited on January. He waited on 1 January 1979, a date confirmed by his journal. Phillips was in his room when another inmate walked in with some news. He would just seen Fred Mitchell in the show hall. It was a cold gray Monday at the Jackson prison, and Phillips had not seen his children in 2,677 days. Fred Mitchell. Phillips knew what to do. On his way, he stopped to tell a friend. "I am coming with you," the friend said. The prison was home to several factories. This meant easy access to raw materials, including scrap metal, which also meant an abundance of homemade knives. Phillips and his friend each held one in their sleeve as they stood outside the show hall. waiting for Mitchell to emerge. He- Here he was, walking across the day, unaware of the two men walking behind him. Phillips could see it all in his mind. He would wait until Mitchell reached the blind spot, a well-known location the guards couldn't see. He would plunge the shank into Mitchell's neck, and he just might get away with it. This would feel like justice.